Welcome to Energy Linguist, a sacred space for awakening souls ready to receive divine transmissions and the raw truth that sets them free. I am Laura Ahern, a spiritual channel and energy translator here to bring through messages from highest guidance to help you hear your inner knowing, reclaim who you are beneath the noise, and live from the truth within. Take a breath. You've found the space where remembering begins. Hello, everyone. This is Laura Ahern, the Energy Linguist, and I'm so excited to have you joining me again for this episode of Energy Linguist Podcast, the space where we get to decode your energy, heal patterns, and awaken your path through the receiving of these divinely channeled messages. It is such an honor to be here with you again today. Thank you for joining me. Today's message is really powerful, so I'm going to just jump straight into this channel of light information. When I started to tune into the collective energies and ask divinity what it is that my listeners need to hear real time, they were abundant with the information that was coming through. And I could feel this eagerness within spirit around this message. And where we're going to begin today is with what they say is that people are lost within themselves. Divinity is here today to shine light on the fact that there is this significant distortion that exists within our own perception and within others. So not just within others' perceptions, but also the way in which we are perceiving others. We interpret and experience others based on our own filter of perception. And so today, divinity is channeling some messages to bring you into this awareness of a way to rise above your pain and circumstances and any of the things that are really holding you back or creating prolonged or chronic suffering, and show you your ability to rise above through your ability to choose. Highest guidance is insisting that you can see things differently. There's a choice you can make. And in fact, events and experiences that feel concrete and immovable in your life can actually start to be broken down and dismantled in a way that allows you to rise. I see imagery like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Many of us are experiencing significant loss, significant letting go, unraveling of relationships. We're experiencing death of loved ones, our own traumas. And what divinity is showing me is the rising of past traumas, not just through memory, but through cycles of experiences that suddenly seem unbearable. Not that they weren't before, but there is this level of intolerability that has been reached in which your soul is starting to speak up and say no more. That this is not the way. And what's interesting about that is that you are right in alignment with divine timing to be feeling this. It is not because you're broken. It is not because you're just trying to create upset in your life. And you certainly don't need to be shaming yourself about how long you feel it took you to get where you're at. Instead, recognizing that the moment for you is now. I can tell you from firsthand experience and through witnessing of my clients that often when the veil gets lifted and we see something in our life, something that has maybe been existing for a very long time, there is self-shaming that can occur because what happens is we start to go, oh my God, how could I have missed this? How could I have allowed myself to be a part of this? How could I continue to think I was so unworthy to continue to engage in these kind of dynamics? And what I'm inviting you into when you're experiencing any kind of new awareness or lifting of veils in your life is to sidestep the shame. It is not your friend. It does not serve you. You do not have to hold the guilt for the way you are judging yourself. You do not need to hold the guilt that you perceive others are placing on you. There is so much choice here that divinity is being very clear that you hold. It is your power to use in order to sidestep. They're actually showing me like just stepping around as opposed to like trudging through it. There's so much rising in the heart and the throat around this. When I tuned in and saw the collective energies as they are channeling these messages real time, what I actually see is this higher opening of frequencies that exist within our third eye, our crown, but also the higher chakras that exist beyond our Taurus field. Almost the opening of soul's grid. When I see that, what they're showing us is this potential to not just rewrite your current experiences in your life so that you can see yourself through a more empowered lens, but also to be able to rewrite things that have happened many lifetimes within your soul's grid, within your path. There is this potential for healing that exists in the reorganization of your energy, the reclaiming of your power that comes through your ability to choose. And they're inviting you to choose beyond what most people are willing to choose, meaning beyond the patterned norms of society. Because in order for you to become whole again, in order for you to fully embody what you are, there has to be a willingness for you to be different. And in order for you to be different, you must choose to speak different, to think different, to feel different, and to honor without judgment all of those layers of your experiences and your very being, the core of your identity. The higher perception that they are opening for you as this message is being channeled is one of love. It's one of inclusion instead of exclusion. And they're pointing us straight to the core of what creates the most of our human suffering, which is polarization. As you might be aware, we are evolutionarily wired to lean towards polarization, meaning we are wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain, which means we have a preference for one over the other and usually are in complete rejection of the experience of pain. This polarization creates unrealistic demands and expectations on our very soul's journey that gets us trapped in the darkness of suffering. And within that darkness, it's not just our own, it's actually lineages that came before us of influence, of beliefs and judgments, and the way we feel that we need to be in order to be enough and be good, that are cycling in this darkness within us. When divinity talks about people getting lost within themselves, this is the very essence that they're talking about us being lost within. The truth is that many of the beliefs that you hold were never yours to begin with. They didn't come from you. You were taught by those who came before you that they were valuable, and this is what made you a good human being. Now, some of those values may in fact align with you. Some of them might actually fill your soul. While unfortunately, the majority of them are probably very layered in self-judgment, judgment of others, and condemnation. Even those who lean into organized religion tend to lean more into the ostracizing of others and the rejection of others, the condemnation of others, rather than the unconditional love that Jesus really came here to teach us. And it is this very core of unconditional love that divinity is channeling about today. Unconditional means no conditions. It's not that I just love you if you're like me, or if you think like me, or if you believe like me. It's that I have grown within my own soul to feel safe in the ability to love others that are different, that think different, that experience things differently. Now, what's interesting about this is that everybody thinks differently and everybody experiences things differently, but we're all pretending not to. What happens when we choose to align and associate beliefs to be a part of the group, to continue to stay a part of dynamics or engage in relationships that are dismissive or discarding? What we do is we're perpetuating a cycle of a lineage that came many, many hundreds of thousands of years ago. Now, there is no shame on our ancestors. They got us here. They did what they needed to do to survive in the times they existed in order to bring us into this time on the planet, which is the greatest spiritual enlightenment period known to man. How blessed are we to be here? Yes, I know it's uncomfortable, guys. I am aware of what awakening looks like. Anybody who tells you awakening is all sunshine and rainbows, light and love has not been awakened. Because to wake up from this mirage, to wake up from being plugged into this matrix is extraordinarily jarring to our consciousness, to our identity, to who and what we know ourselves to be. It means learning to walk again. It means learning to walk in a different direction. It means the willingness to let things go that are at the core of who we thought we were. And to be brave enough to explore and discover who we are without all of those identifiers. It can be one of the most excruciating processes ever. I can tell you that for me, that was one of the hardest, most challenging parts of my journey after being widowed at 29. Yes, the loss of my best friend, my dreams, my future. Yes, it was exceptionally challenging to have everybody treat me like a baby bird with a broken wing, that there was no way I could move forward. But the hardest part was actually having to face myself. Coming to terms with all of the internal judgments, the self-rejection, the regrets, being told and taught that if we make a mistake or we sin this way, we're going to hell, that we are condemned, there's no way around it. Tell me, how defeating is that? If you make a mistake, there's no turning back. These are lies. Life, our journey in this human being, is to learn. How many of you think you came here and were supposed to already know all the answers? Oof, I feel that rise in the throat chakra. That's what we were taught, that mistakes are not okay. And we have pressured ourselves and shamed ourselves for not having known better. Because to us, certain amounts of pain, especially when they're self-inflicted by choice, are intolerable. We don't want to accept the pain. And so instead, we start to reject and shame ourselves. What if you could come into this divine perspective of knowing that all of the things, especially the mistakes, arose within your life because your soul was calling something in to learn from, to derive wisdom from, that we don't need to reject the painful things. We can learn who we are, not as them, but through the experiencing of them. The nuance here is this. You'll hear me say it often. It's written in my book, The True Calling. You are not your experience. You are the experiencer. Divinity puts you on this platform as the experiencer because you are then at this eagle-eye perspective with this opportunity to have a higher perspective on what's actually happening. But instead, our pain and the holding of our own regret often causes us to hold the experience and identify ourselves with them, to shame ourselves as if we are the thing that created the pain. And today I want to bring you into the awareness that if there are things within your past that, and I kind of giggle here because who doesn't have this? But if there are things within your past that have caused you regret and pain and remorse and self-shame, I am here to tell you that those things are not who you are. And in fact, if you experienced pain through them, that's the first indicator that you are not of those things. We don't feel that at odds with things that we are aligned with. The proof that you are not your mistake is the pain that you felt. That's your indicator that this is not you, that you don't vibrate on that frequency, that there is something greater, full of more love and light that you aim to be a part of. And so I share this with you today to help you to set yourself free from that which you've been still holding on to, and to understand that those very things are teaching you about who you are not. They are not telling you anything about who you are. Stop shaming your soul for the desire to learn. Stop shaming your being for your desire to derive wisdom from this journey. That is what you are here for. Leaning into only our human nature of this desire to polarize things, polarize people, right? That don't agree with us, that don't believe in what we believe, that don't think the way we think, that don't value what we value, right? Think about the war and the pain and the strife that causes. The polarization of only wanting to experience good things and not experience anything bad. That actually causes us to hold the bad, because we're constantly focused in the fear of, I don't want the bad, I don't want the bad, I don't want the bad, with all of our energy and attention fearing into the bad. And this polarization continues to create self-rejection, which creates a domino effect into the rejection of our wisdom, the rejection of our very experiences, our life. And it causes us to hide ourselves buried beneath that fear, the fear of feeling, the fear of pain, the fear of rejection, the fear of not being like everyone else. But you are not here to be like everyone else. Divinity is here, not just to transmit this message of healing, because as you're listening to these messages, you're actually receiving high vibrational transmissions that start to heal you from your invisible spiritual vibration at the core of you outward. So you're actually being healed as you listen to this podcast. They want that healing for you, and they're also here to help you to see that you have a choice. And your choice is to shift your perspective on your experiences, on the events that have taken place in your life. About 21 years ago, I read the book Success Principles by Jack Canfield. And his very first chapter of that book is about 100% responsibility. And he talks about this equation: event plus response equals outcome. E plus R equals O. And it's a really beautiful chapter. It goes into our ability to respond to something and how that will change the outcome, how we're experiencing it. Divinity has taken the core of that and revealed something greater to me. For those of you who are spiritual in nature, you understand that time is not linear. Though we experience it linearly because we are in a physical body, time is not linear. And there is the core of us that exists beyond this time and space. Our physical being is tethered to the time and space, but our spiritual self, which is also intimately connected with our physical being, is beyond this time and space. It's important to speak about this here because this idea that we cannot change an event is only partially correct. And it has everything to do with the nuance and the way that you think about it. There is much that happens in our lives, events that occur that we are not responsible for. There was, in my own experience, the unexpected diagnosis of my late husband with his brain tumor and the prognosis of 9 months to live. I couldn't change that event. I couldn't will it away. And yet divinity steps in to let you know that even when the most impossible circumstances rise in your life and difficult choices have to be made, you can shift the event in an unexpected way. And that way comes through how you choose to perceive it. So it's beyond just how we respond to it, but it's in the reframing of the event itself that we actually step onto that platform divinity's talking about, onto this higher perspective of being able to see the divine orchestration that exists beneath even the most impossible challenges, even the greatest mistakes. There is a divine orchestration. And it is within your spiritual capacity for you to understand that all things that are happening within your life are actually here to serve you, to teach you, to allow you to persevere, to discover what you're made of, to unleash the light that exists within you that you otherwise would not have discovered. We are much more powerful than we have ever given ourselves credit for. We have been looking at ourselves through a lens of labels and judgments and regrets and not enoughness, of wanting to be better, but feeling like we could never possibly be because the sin has already been committed. And that is the darkness of deceit. God, the universe, source, divinity, they are not against you. They are for you. You are of them and they are of you. There is no separation except that which exists within our minds, within our own judgment, within our own polarization and rejection. And today, they're reminding you of the power that exists within you to choose, to see your experiences in a different light, and to see your invaluable nature for what it is. There is so much more they want me to share about your journey into embracing your unique nature, which I will speak about on another podcast. And today, I want to simply leave you with their message and reminder that you do not need to remain lost within yourself. You do not need to remain as one of those who are just doing what they're told. There is a choice arising that is existing within you. Maybe it feels like intolerance of your past. Maybe it feels like a never again kind of energy. And if so, it's all perfectly aligned for this time on the planet right now. Because what it is divinity unveiling your true worth and giving you an opportunity to start to align your life with what you truly are at your core, which is a beautiful being of light, a beautiful soul on a journey to awakening. I hope that this message blesses you infinitely and that you return to it anytime you need this reminder. And until next time, I'm sending you so much love and gratitude for your willingness to open up to a higher way of being. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm Laura, the Energy Linguist, and it has been my absolute honor. Thank you for being here, for listening with your heart, and for opening to the truth meant just for you. If this transmission resonated, I invite you to visit lauraahern.com for free resources and sacred support to help you accelerate your awakening and walk your path with more power, trust, and grace. Until next time, trust what you feel, honor what you know, and believe in your power to create something greater than you've ever imagined.